Hi guys, every day this week I've watched a Roald Dahl movie, and so for this video I am going to be giving you my thoughts on each of the films I've watched. I'm also going to talk about some of the books that I've read as well, although I haven't read many of his books. And then at the very end of the video I'm going to be rating my least two favourite of the films I've watched this week. So a bit of background information on what I have read as a child of Dahl's. I was not a big Roald Dahl reader as a child. I can only recall reading two of his books, and they were The Twits and James and the Giant Peach. So the first film I watched last week was Fantastic Mr. Fox.
The cuss you are.
The cuss am I? Are you cussing with me?
No, you cussing with me?
Don't cuss and point
You're
at me.
gonna cuss with somebody, you're not gonna cuss with me.
This was a film I had never seen before. I had also never read the book, but after watching the film I did read the book because it's only a short book. I read it in one sitting, so I thought I would just read it to compare it with the film. When I first started watching the film I wasn't too sure what I was going to make to it because I wasn't too sure of the animation, but I actually found it quite humorous and got into it quite quickly because of the humour. The film and the book are slightly different, but it's basically about this fox who steals from three different farmers, and then the farmers want to get their revenge on the fox and kill him. The fox then needs to save his family from these three farmers. Like I said, I did read the book after watching the film. I'm not too sure which one I prefer. The book is a lot more straightforward, and the film does contain some parts that the book doesn't have. I don't necessarily think it was necessary for the film to contain new things that the book didn't have. For instance, in the film they made some new characters, including a nephew to the Fox family, but I happen to like this character, so it didn't bother me too much that it was different from the book. And overall I found the film okay. I did enjoy it, but it wasn't one of my favourite films. The next film I watched was SEO Trot.
Alfie's looking well this morning, likes his food.
Yes, well, we both live in hope.
Oh. What are you both hoping for?
Well, obviously that he'll grow a little faster.
Now, this was a film that I had never heard of before. I'd never heard of the book either. I was close to not choosing this one because I wasn't too sure how popular it was, but it was a film under BBC, so it was easy for me to find, and so I thought I'd give it a go. Thankfully I did, because I loved this film so much. It's so heartwarming and cute. I was smiling all the way through it. I loved the characters. I thought the two main actors in it were amazing. The main two actors were Dustin Hoffman and Judi Dench, and they were incredible. I did read the book afterwards because it was only a short book. I do prefer the film a lot more, but there was more in the film, and also I preferred the ending of the film compared to the ending in the book. So it's basically about this elderly man who falls in love with his neighbour, and throughout the film he's trying to win her affection by making one of her dreams come true, and it really is such a lovely story. I'm not usually one who's big on romance films, but this romance was just so heartwarming. It really is such a charming film. I'm so glad that I watched it. The next film I watched was James and the Giant Peach.
But you're enormous bugs!
Fascinating, isn't it?
We've all changed. And so have you, James.
This was a film I'd seen before. I watched it when I was younger. Again, I only have a vague memory of watching the film as well, and so I'm not too sure what my thoughts were on the film either back when I was younger. But rewatching it now, it wasn't one of my favourites. I found it a little dated, and I wasn't too sure on the animation either. I did find that my attention drifted quite a bit when watching this film, but it is targeted for children, so that might be why. The film and the book are about this boy who lives with his evil aunt, and he ends up befriending a load of bugs who live in this giant peach, and they embark on this magical journey. I do love Roald Dahl's imagination though. The next film I watched was the BFG. I did see the 1989 version, the original animation.
I catch dreams.
I want to come.
Yeah, you is staying here.
And this is another film I think I watched when I was a child, but I don't have a great memory of it. Rewatching it, I enjoyed it a little more than I thought I would, but it still isn't a film that I would probably watch again. I can definitely see why a lot of children would enjoy it though. I think it's a really nice story. It's about this little girl who is taken by this big friendly giant. The next film I watched was Matilda.
These books gave Matilda a hopeful and comforting message. You are not alone.
This is a film I watched a number of times as a child. I also have it on DVD. I really like Danny DeVito. I think he's a great actor, and he actually, I just learnt recently, I think he directed this film. Yeah, he did. Danny DeVito directed the film. I didn't know that until I rewatched it. And yeah, I really like him as an actor, and I think he does a great job as Matilda's father in the film. The film is a classic. I can understand why it's so popular. It is a great story. There are some really memorable characters in the film, and I think Matilda is a great role model for young children as well. And I think it's just a really easy film to watch. Even though I had seen it a number of times before, it did have my full focus when I went to rewatch it. Matilda is about this gifted girl with this keen intellect and psychic powers who doesn't get on well with her parents or her principal, and she uses her powers and abilities to deal with them. I have also seen the musical as well. Not the musical, they released a musical version on film, I think, not that long ago. I haven't seen that, but I saw the musical version at the West End. And unfortunately, I wasn't a big fan of musical, which did surprise me, but I do enjoy the film. The next film I watched was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. I watched the original version with Gene Wilder.
Wait a minute, what's all that small print there at the bottom? Oh, if you have any problems, dial information. Thank you for calling.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is about this young boy called Charlie who wins this golden ticket to visit Wonka's chocolate factory. I just love this film. Another film I watched when I was a child, and I still enjoyed watching it again. I have actually watched this film a number of times. It's a real classic, and I love Gene Wilder's version of Wonka. I've also got Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp as Wonka. Did not enjoy this film as much. I much preferred the original version. I wasn't so keen on Johnny Depp's take on Wonka. And I've also got Wonka. This musical was released not that long ago with Timothée Chalamet as Wonka, and this is one of my favourite films. Gotta be in my top 5 favourite films of all time. I just love this film. I love the songs, and I really enjoy the storyline as well. And the last film I watched was The Witches. I watched the 1990 version. This was the first time I had ever seen this film. I watched it just yesterday, and I will be honest and say that I found it terrifying. I can't imagine what I would have been like if I'd seen that film as a young child. So the film is basically about these evil witches who don't like children, and they end up turning the main child into a mouse, and then he has to try and stop the witches hurting any more children. The main witch, when she turned into this, she looked like this kind of rat looking character. She just looked really scary to me. And there was a part when one of the boys was turned into a mouse. That was just really disturbing as well. And at the beginning, they tell of this story of how the witches kidnapped this child, and then they put her into this painting where she just gradually grew older in this picture, stuck in this picture, until eventually she disappeared. I assume she died in this picture. And just hearing that story at the beginning, I just thought it was horrific. But this is coming from somebody who was scared of Bambi as a child. I really didn't like the scene where the two stags were fighting, so I might have been a bit of a wimpy child, but I really can't imagine, yeah, sitting through that film when I was younger. I struggled to sit through it yesterday. So I'm now going to rate the 7 films I watched last week. So in last place, in my opinion, I've got James and the Giant Peach. Then I have The Witches. Then The BFG. Then Fantastic Mr. Fox. In third place, I have Matilda. Second, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And in first place, SEO Trot. Overall, I really enjoyed watching the films inspired by Roald Dahl's books. I think it's a shame I didn't read more of his work when I was younger, because I find the majority of his films fascinating and fun. I'm also really glad that I discovered and watched SEO Trot. I can understand why Roald Dahl is such a popular children's writer. His books have sold more than 300 million copies worldwide, and he has been called one of the greatest storytellers for children of the 20th century. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I will see you in my next video.